Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So I know it's been a while, but I'm kind of briefly breaking my hiatus slash break from the channel just because I have been falling behind on Kaiju number 8 chapters for a while now, so I wanted to kind of get caught up before before the backlog got a little bit too big to handle. Yeah, so was feeling a little bit refreshed after taking a couple of weeks off. Did a little drive yesterday, kind of got my mind a little bit right, so figured I'd do some catch up work today. With that said, the channel is still pretty much on break. Like I don't have any official plans to come back to like full time streaming read through stuff yet. I will see if that's going to change this upcoming week, depending on how I feel next weekend. I might try to get back to doing some more of the read throughs, but that's still on kind of a touch and go basis, so I'll have to take it by kind of day by day basis to see. That said, only one more quick kind of announcement update before we dive into the chapters proper. Uh, I was originally planning on doing some catch up review reaction stuff for One Piece as well. But after this latest chapter, I think I'm just going to be dropping the series for a while. I'm not going to bother trying to do reactions or reviews because it's honestly just been kind of annoying me a lot lately. So maybe I'll dive into that in depth in like a channel update video or something. But for the foreseeable future, I'm not going to be doing any more weekly One Piece, or weekly or monthly One Piece content. Still do have ideas for some video essays and stuff and like topics I want to talk about and address. Save it for future videos, so I'll still do those. But yeah, for the foreseeable future, no more reviews. But yeah, we'll see if that ever changes or anything like that. I just want to let everyone have a heads up. With that said, let's finally get into the Kaiju number 8 chapters. I have 4 chapters to catch up with as we pick up at chapter 23. Yeah, those don't have titles, do they? So yeah, Kaiju number 8, chapter 23 by Naoya Matsumoto. And you have Mina going, Kafka Hibino. As of this time today, you are formally promoted from cadet to Defense Force officer. Yes! And you see him just looking all determined as he salutes and goes, I solemnly swear to fight with all my heart and soul. And he's trying to be all casual and be like, well, I guess I'll be on my way now. You have translation by David Evelyn, lettering by Brandon Bovia. And you have Don't Go Jumping for Joy as he's about to leave and he's just about to grab the door handle and leave. As Mina goes, you're nowhere close to fighting by my side. And he's taken aback and he grins as he goes, so, Mina does remember after all. And he's like, oh yeah? Just you watch, Mina. She turns, she gives him a slight smirk and a head. She goes, 50 push-ups for failing to address a superior officer by their title. Then you can leave. He's like, ah, crap, I did it again. And then she goes, Kaiju number 8. And he's like, oh, shivers. He's like, oh, shit. And she's like, in Kaiju number 9's incidents require me to take a trip to headquarters. I'll be stepping away from the base. And he's like, oh, she had me spooked for a moment there. And she goes, I'm leaving Hoshina in charge, so ask him for the full rundown. And he's like, yes, ma'am. And she goes, also, just so you know, Hoshina was the one who pushed for you to be a general officer. Of course, your exploits in the last battle also played a part in that decision. And Kafka's like, the vice captain? And he's like, he has faith in you. Don't let him down. It's like, yes, ma'am. And you see, yeah. And he's saying, man. I guess I should call it a day. And you see him in what looks like the lunch areas. He's got like a pile of books in front of him that he's poring over. And you see him thinking back to Hoshina's kind of casually leaning at the door when he was warning him earlier. As he's like, or else the vice captain will give me another warning. He's like, hey, isn't that the training room? As he sees a light coming from down the hallway. And he goes in to check it out. I was like, okay, who forgot to turn off the lights? And you see him just shuddering. Oh, man, as you see Hoshina just got his two blades like right behind him as he's like intensely focused. You can see he's just completely jacked and rippling with muscle. And you have Kafka going, Vice Captain, what's he doing here? And you see him just starting to do, I assume, katas or Kafka's going mental imagery training as he's slashing the swords back and forth. And you see Kafka going, those moves. This isn't just any imagery training. This is, as the Hoshina kind of ducking down, swiping forward to slash, as he goes, a reenactment of his battle with Kaiju number 8. And you see him thinking back to all the moves that Hoshina pulled on him, as he falls on his butt in surprise. And Hoshina's like, oh, it's you, Kafka. Burning the midnight oil again, I see. And he's like, it's like, I can say the same to you, Vice Captain. What are you doing so late? Or what are you doing here so late? He's like, right, I'm practicing my moves against number 8. So the next time I run into it, I'll be fit to slice that sucker up in one go. Goku's like, oh my god. And Ocean's like, I screwed up from the start trying to gauge its abilities. If I just gone all out from the get-go, I could have sent its head flying. And at the end there, he just points a sword at Kafka. He goes, if I'd used skill number 6 instead of number 5, I could have made mincemeat out of it, core and all. And you see a gah! You see Kafka imagining his kaiju form just screaming out the piss from his nipples. As like mentally pissing himself. And Ocean's like, little too freaked out over practice swords, aren't you? It's like, no ordinary officer could handle that thing. I'm guessing that number 9 is just as powerful. I've got to get rid of him. And I see him just got this deadpan serious face. As Kafka's like, yeah, he really is something else. He's not just trying to protect the citizens. He's also trying to protect us, his officers. And he goes, Vice Captain, Mina told me that you have faith in me. I'll do my best to provide vital support to the force, as he salutes. And you see Ocean is coming in, getting him full of chokehold from behind. He goes, fat chance I'd have faith that someone with a measly 1% could provide vital support. Don't get cocky, dope. As Kafka's just trying to tap out, and he starts crawling away. He's like, my apologies, sir. He's like, but I will say, I do have faith in at least 1% of you. And Kafka's just like, oh. He's like, I'm heading back to the Bureau building. Let's get some shut-eye. It's like, yes, sir. And you see an aerial zoom out over the base. Oh, nice. As you see 8,000 meters above Tachikawa base, and you see begin descent, as you see this sick-looking kaiju with like this giant horn coming out of his head, and like this cross slit for an eye, as he's riding these weird-ass looking bird dragons. Look the same, just a swarm of them, all hidden towards the base. Oh. So we get to chapter 24. Yeah, so we have Kaiju number 8, chapter 24 by Naoya Matsumoto. Translation by David Evelyn, lettering by Brandon Bovia. And you see Hoshina back at his desk, looking up incident reports on Kaiju number 8. As he goes, Kaiju number 8. Something off about it. Something almost human. Then there's Kaiju number 9, going around posing and speaking as a human. What's going on with these kaiju? And you see Kafka's just kind of taking a break on the roof as he's resting on the railing. And he remembers Hoshina telling him, I do have faith in at least 1% of you. And kind of tosses away the drink. I'm not sure if it's a beer or not. Into the can. He kind of slaps his face to kind of focus himself as he goes, don't let him down. Alright, finally taken the first step. Well, I'd better get back and hit the hay. Sleep is a part of the job too. And you see us zooming in aerial closer as all these meteors just start raining down on the base in this single color spread. Oh, I just love the way it's illuminated. And you have Kafka looking back and and you have a slam. As there's a boom as all of them come crashing down on the base. You have a what? And you see everyone inside getting woken up as Hoshina's going, what's going on? It's like, operation room, come in. And you have a few dozen kaiju have appeared on base grounds. Judging from what we gather in the situation, the kaiju are performing an aerial raid. And you see Hoshina's taken aback by this. As you have estimated strengths 6.4, 6.2, 6.3. Every single one is a Honju class threat. And you see all these kaiju after they've landed are starting to like power up. Very pterodon looking, or pterodactyl looking. And they're starting to fire all these huge ass blasts that are just completely blasting through all the buildings. You have Hoshina going, Night Watch Unit, take battle stations. Deploy the off-duty officers. All personnel prepare for combat. You have Roger. Try our best to draw them to the training grounds. Do not let them outside the base. He goes, no reports of damage outside the base yet? No, it couldn't be. And you have Kafka going, are they targeting the Defense Force base? He's like, what is all this? The base, it's a sea of flames. It's like wyvern type kaiju. If all the nasty customers show up, he's like, wait, wyvern type kaiju? If that's what they are, this doesn't add up. And he pings his commune and he goes, Vice Captain, is Kafka, you made it out safe? He's like, yes, sir, but I have a more concerning issue to address. He's like, go ahead, report. It's like there are only about 10 wyvern type kaiju reported every year, but all of them share a common attribute. They all operate alone. However, these things showed up as a pack. Oceanell's like, right. That leads me to believe one thing. It's like the power to make these wyvern types set aside their immense pride and band together, and the intelligence to act with a clear purpose. We must have one super powerful leader pulling the strings. And you see the kaiju showing up. The weird ass, like lizard, dragon looking one showing up with two of the wyverns flanking him. As you have target found. As Hoshino goes, gotta go, Kafka. Duty calls. We have Kaiju number 8, episode 3, Raid on Tachikawa Base. Getting into the next arc as we get to chapter 25. Come on. Did I just do chapter 25 or was we chapter 26? Come on, Viz, don't do this to me. Oh, Lord. Alright, give me a second, everyone. I apologize, but Viz is acting up on me. It's very annoying. Yeah, chapter 25, again by Naoya Matsumoto. Translation by David Evelyn, lettering by Brandon Bovia. And Kafka's like, we must have one super powerful leader pulling the strings. It's Vice Captain Hoshina. And you see Hoshina's kind of just putting his arms towards his swords. He's like, that's our kaiju, eh? And you see the kaiju just kind of scratching his neck. He's like, who's the strongest one at this base? He's like, figured. It's capable of human speech. He's like, well, seeing how the captain's out, that'd be me. And the kaiju's like, I see. That settles it then. You'll be my prey. And he does a little finger flick as he just sends off a shot. And Ocean just barely dodges out of the way as you see an explosion crater in the building behind him. And you see the group he bought with him kind of just staring at it in shock. So you have Honju estimated fortitude readings are in. At 8.3, it's Dai Kaiju class, sir. He's like, Ikaruga, come in. He's like, sir. It's like, you lead the charge against the Yoju. Top priorities are to stop the spread of collateral damage and keeping the main building functional. Like, roger that. I'll handle the Honju so that... And you see the kaiju coming up right behind Hoshino as he powers up his fist and he goes, you dodged it, then you pass. As he's about to aim a blow for the back of his head. And you see his sister slamming down. Huge explosion shockwave shattering the windows behind him. As you see Hoshino going, yeah, this one is one I've got to kill myself. As he's got both his troops out from below the blow from the Daikaiju. Oh, and you see he's just like the mouth, like the little cross-shaped mouths that can just start to split open as you see a single glowing eye in there. It's like, alright, let's get right into it and begin the extermination. And you see a little sound wave coming out as the wyverns are kind of like cocking their heads listening to something. And you see, Gyow! As they all start screaming. And Ocean's like, the Yoju are reacting. So you're after the base after all. And you see this huge fist flying towards him. And he just barely managed to dodge out of the way at the nick of time. The building behind him just explodes. He goes, his punches are unreal. It strikes like a meteorite. I'm dead meat if I take even one of those head on. And he takes his blade out. And you see the kaiju just trying to hammer at him with some blows. And him dodging out of the way as he slashes at it. And you see him kind of leaping over as he kind of crosses a slash on his chest hide. And he goes, its hide is even harder than number 8's. And you see main building east is fire. And you see a bunch of the squad just starting to fire on the wyverns. The prap. And you have, they're unscathed. And a gwa! As they get rocked with an explosion. And you have a ga! And you see Kafka's getting suited into his uniform. As he goes, frontal attacks won't work. Aim for their backs instead. Those are the same type of kaiju recorded back in 03. And you have, God, why the hell can I remember his name? Sorry, give me a second. My brain is dead. I have to look up the names of everyone. Boy. Ichikawa. Yes, you see Ichikawa going, sir, it's you. It's like, it's the old timer. Is that Ikaruga? I think. That's not the one I'm looking for. No, it's Iharu. Iharu's like, it's the old timer. And Ikaruga's like, I was worried since I couldn't get you on the line. It's like, sorry, I was talking to the vice captain. Anyway, the back, go for the back. The skin in the front acts as a shield while they're in flight. Their core should be near their backs. Their backs have only minimal coating to decrease their weight. And you have, good going, Hibino. Alright, split into 2 groups. Distract them from the front and start firing at their backs. And you have, yes, sir. As Aoi and Haruichi start like dashing off. Now Aoi's like, I'll act as a decoy. You take the rear, Haruichi. It's like, you owe me one, Aoi. He goes sliding across the building, slipping behind one of the wyverns. It goes, combat power fully unleashed. Unleash combat power 36%. And as he's dangling there about to take a shot, another wyvern's coming around the side of the building and takes a blast at him, and he dodges out of the way. He's like, the kaiju are teaming up? You have Izumo. It's like, no good, we can't get to their backs. It's like, neither can we, the kaiju are obstructing us. It's like, no way. And he's like, well, what now? If we can't get to their backs, then how do we... And Ikuruga's like, there is one other way. He's like, Shinomiya? He's like, a way? What way? And you see Kikoro just running up going, just have me. She just slams something right into the middle of the wyvern and just makes it explode from the back as its guts just go exploding everywhere. Oh, I love this. And you see her with this giant battle axe on her shoulder. She just flips her hair casually. She's like, use my devastating power to chop through them from the front. Fucking love it. Oh. Yes, they gave her an axe. Hikaru is loose. Yes, she is loose. Oh, I love that. Oh, so great. So we get to chapter 26. Of course, look, I'm not going to do the whole lettering stuff again. You guys know what it is. And you have a custom weapon for me? But aren't those only provided to captains? And you see Mina going, generally, yeah, but we're making an exception based on the situation. The fortitude levels and number of kaiju emergence this year are abnormal. Since you're number 3 in combat power here at the base, we've decided to make you a part of our main force. You have Shinomiya. Going forward, you will act as the 3rd major force in line behind Vice Captain and Captain and exterminate kaiju. And you see her just kind of casually gripping her arm. And she goes, well, this punk's a decent punch for a prototype. So though if I have to nitpick anything, she's just like casually swinging this huge axe around going, I suppose it'd be that this weapon's boorish nature doesn't suit me at all. You have Haru going, I can't believe it. She took him out from the front. And she's like, as for all of you, kaiju, now that I've set foot on the battlefield, you won't be running amok any longer. And she just gears the axe back. She goes running forward. And one of the wyverns tries to blast her. And she just jumps into the air above it and goes, this weapon's main material is the unit organ from the Honju we neutralized in Shinagawa 2 years ago. Pull the trigger to power it on and release shockwaves. Usage 1 generating shockwave behind itself mid-swing for acceleration. And you see her just grabbing and charging up. She just slams the kaiju into the ground with the axe. So yeah, for acceleration, you have squadron style axe technique number 1, falling thunder. And she brings the axe behind her again. So you have usage 2, emitting a frontal shockwave upon impact. So you have number 2, water skimmer. And she just slices a kaiju and just explodes it from the inside again. So you have for added evisceration. And Haru's like, holy hell. And Ikaruga's like, doesn't suit you at all? Yeah, right. As aggressive and high-handed as you can be, it's a perfect fit. And she's just licking her lips. She's like, alright, step up. Who's next? It's like, you from above? And you see as the kaiju's flying out, you have boom, boom, boom. As they get something fired on it. She's like, freeze rounds? And it comes crashing to the ground. As Ikaruga's like, on your toes, Shinomiya. They're coming in from above, too. She's like, Reno. And you see one of the wyverns just like letting out a battle cry. And he's like, you're not flying on my watch. And you have a kaching as you see the wings are too frozen for the wyvern to do anything. And she's like, huh, look at that. Never thought he'd be this good against such high-level kaiju. And as you hear just leaping over and doing another slice and knocking its head off, she goes, number 3, half moon. And she comes skidding to a stop. It's like, Reno, I'll allow you to back me up. If you can keep up, that is. And he's like, you're on. It's like, okay then. We'll act as reserves and disorganize them. Yeah, Shinomiya Squad will split up the kaiju. Resume the operation, split into 2 groups, and fire at their backs. And Jeff, yeah! And Hoshina's like, look like Shinomiya's working out fine. The real problem here is, and you see him just kind of bracing himself, swords at the ready, as the kaiju comes slamming down and pulverizes a tank. As you plink plink as the charge from her kind of slicing up Hoshina. He goes, this thing. And you see him dodging out of the way, has this laying, punching more blows towards him, like landing little cratering impacts on the tanks and stuff behind him. It's like, it's so strong. It's like, that's not the half of it. This thing gets a kick out of fighting. And you have Hoshina going, Hokunogi, open up gate 3 for me. Like, Roger. And you see him just dodging back as he's keeping an eye on it, going, it's clearly capable of emotions beyond that of a normal kaiju. And you see him, kaiju just blasting through one of the blast doors with a punch. He goes, crap, what was the point in even opening it? That isn't cheap, you know. The door, I mean. He's like, where did... As he's looking up, he sees the kaiju just dodge to the side as it goes, you should feel proud of yourself. There's not many, kaiju included, who can scrap with me. I'm gonna love feeding on you for sustenance. Comes in with a punch, straight in, as Hoshina is blocked with the blades the last minute, and he gets sent flying back. So you have Vice Captain! And Kaiju's like, oh, you're really not half bad. As you see one of his arms has gotten sliced off. And you see, sorry Okunogi, it's urgent, so I'm keeping my request short and to the point. Here in the training grounds, I can go all out without worrying about the officers getting in the way. He goes, unleash maximum combat power 92%. As he goes, alrighty, time to neutralize. So he's got one sword in front of him, blade out, and one sword behind him. So we get to chapter 27. So just making sure. And you see, we pick up back outside again with the wyverns are kind of still going in. You see one of the female recruits is kind of just freaking out and panicking she can't do anything. And you see Kafka running into the rescue. He goes, partial transformation! He grabs her out from under the blast in the nick of time. Jeff, Mr. Hibino, thank you! It's like, you're not hurt, are you, Manase? So it looks like you've got the hang of using the suit. And he's like, it's like, well, I am a general officer now, so at the bare minimum I should. Jeff, Mr. Hibino, behind you! And as he looks behind as the wyvern's getting a blast ready, you see Kikoru coming in, just slamming it back with their axe. He's like, Kikoru! He's like, sir, are you alright? He's like, Ichikawa! He's like, Reno and I will draw away the kaiju. Protect the injured in the meantime. He's like, Roger! He's like, hey, sir, don't do anything reckless out there. You're a general officer now. Have faith in your squad. He's like, you got it. He's like, okay, I'm off. See you later. And you see him going in to provide covering support for Kokoro against the other wyverns. And you have report, Nakanoshima platoon has arrived. Like, sorry for the wait, Ikaruga. Like, friggin' kaiju think they can run wild, eh? It's like, also, Bina platoon has arrived and is heading south as reinforcements. And you have Kafka going, great, all the senior officers are off duty, have come back to back us up. You have Shinomiya squad and Agatsuma platoon 2 Yoju down. Takao platoon here, snipers organized, commencing freeze-round sniping of airborne kaiju. Jeff, this is Itakura platoon, storehouse area secured. Jeff, we're pushing them back little by little. In spite of this emergency going on without the captain here. He goes, alright, Manase, let's hurry up and get the injured to safety. It's like, right. It's like, man, they're so amazing. And I don't just mean Kikoru and Ichikawa either. Everyone is so amazing. And this is the division that I'm a part of. This is, and you see back with Hoshina going, you picked the wrong customers to scrap with. It's like the 3rd division. It's like, we're winning this fight, buddy. I see him charging up, going in for a blow as he stops, and he just slices the kaiju in half. And you have, he did it again. just like the strike that lopped off my arm before. He's cutting through the gaps in my shell with precision, and you see a little bit more miniature blows as the kaiju spurt in blood. He's like, this guy doesn't impress me. As he's getting mad, as his eye flap is opening up again, he goes, it's such a cheap little trick. If I know what you're after, I can easily deal with it by, and you see him kind of tensing his muscles to close up all the gaps. And you see Hoshina just slicing through him again on the right side. He goes, huh? As he just slices him open, he goes, Hoshina style sword slate technique number 2, cross slasher. It's like, so, aiming for the gaps was just a diversion. You have number 4, wild slasher, as he chops off both the arms, takes a chunk out of his midsection. He goes, yeah. As you see another spurt, his head's like hanging half off, as the Daikaiju's like, this is the way a fight should be. Meeting an opponent that rivals myself in power, and trading blows with them head on. And you see him just charging up, and you see the kind of weird bubbling on his skin as he's regenerating that the Mushroom Kaiju is also doing. And you see rival. As he's like, Hoshina is just dashing back and forth, bouncing off all the walls and slashing through him. And you see, as one of his punches has stopped, and he's just been his arm's just been sliced into pieces. And he's like, huh? And Hoshina's like, that core of yours is smaller than I expected. And you see the Kaiju kind of looking back at him. Surprised you have number 6, 8 full slasher, as he just cuts through him like a pizza slice or like a pizza or a pie slice. Just 8 perfect slashes right through from the midsection all the way up to the head and all the way across the chest as he slices all the way through him. Jeff, he did it! He's like, no, not yet. And you see the Kaiju again just started kind of mushroom cloud out after these blows. As the chapter ends there, feels like a weird cliffhanger to end it on, but not really a huge complaint. With that said, Kaiju number 8 again. One of the few series I'm still currently reading, or one of the few series I'm currently enjoying in Jump right now. These last few chapters kind of cemented that same feeling. I love that we're getting to see, the ensemble cast also kind of show what their capabilities are in these chapters. So we're seeing, of course, Kikoru, who's kind of the standout from the start, kind of, dashing ahead of the rest of the pack, as it were, now that she's been given her own custom weapon. I just love that she's got this gigantic ass axe. She's just casually wielding, like using it to slice things. So I can't wait to see her use more of it and see like all the different like techniques and like styles, fighting styles and stuff she's gonna be able to implement with it. Because right now it seems like a lot of it's just focused more on pure just damage and output, like doing maximum carnage with each of the blows, which works for the lesser kaiju like the wyverns. So it'll be interesting to see if and when she comes up against a Dai Kaiju, how well the weapon is going to work against them, or how she's going to have to like mitigate or play around with her fighting style to kind of take them on. That said, I love that Kafka is kind of relegated to a supporting role in this, at least thus far, because it does, again, like I said earlier, kind of gives the other characters a chance to shine and kind of show off their skills. That said, I don't know. It's kind of like it's too early to tell like what direction the story is going to go. I don't think I expected another Daikaiju to show up so early into the story just yet, which makes me wonder if something's going to interrupt the fight. It's going to be like, he's going to go recover and be like, oh, I was not using my full capability, stuff like that. But I do like that this new kaiju seems like a meathead who's like, oh, I revel in fighting. He's like, I love fighting. Always love those types of character archetypes, so that's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, not too much more else to say, because a lot of these chapters are very heavily action-packed. So it'll be interesting to see what the fallout from these is going to be and which direction the arc is going to take. I guess because I want to say it's going to be a mini arc, but that may not be the case. We'll have to see. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how long the series is going to last, like how much potential and everything it has. But again, it's early days. We're only 20 chapters in. Like the series is still building up ahead of steam. But like I said, so far I'm really enjoying what I've read so far. Can't wait to read more. Like I said, I hope you all enjoyed these reaction reviews. Like I mentioned at the start, I will try to get back to read through sometime this week if I can, but I'm still on hiatus. I'll be kind of touch and go. That's it. I hope you enjoyed. As always, if you like my content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, this is Ash. Talk to you all later.